Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Buying a House in Japan. I'm your host, Joey, joined by Take. We've got some exciting guests today, Rob and Naomi, who recently completed a purchase of a house in Okayama. Rob and Naomi, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Well,
So-
first off, congratulations, Rob and Naomi. Your house looks amazing. I saw some photos. We'll get into it in a little bit. But yeah, thank you for trusting us through the process, and we're really excited to hear more. But just to start off, do you mind giving us a quick intro on both yourselves?
We're both third generation. We wanted to actually go back to where my family was from. I'm still looking for them. But since I haven't contacted them for, was it almost 40 years now, I don't know if they're dead or alive or whatever, but it's a quest now that we're going to be starting through.
Yes.
I think you could have cousins in the area, or?
Did, but the last one that I spoke with, or actually wrote with and spoke to, was about 30 years ago. And if he's alive, he'd be probably about 85, I think. So I don't know if, well, we'll see if hopefully he's not kicked the bucket or anything like that.
Yeah.
Naomi, do you have any family in the area, or?
I don't. No, Rob spent a very happy summer with his relatives in Okayama in that area. So that's why we went back to that spot, because it's farming and it's a little out of the way.
But her family's all down in was it Fukuoka?
Next spot.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll go down there and try to see if we can check with her relatives too. But we want to start off where we were at in Okayama. So
Got it.
there.
And where are you guys currently based? Were you born and raised in the United States? You mentioned you're third generation, right?
I was born in Denver. She's LA. And yeah, we're third generation. Our I guess our parents, you probably know it, the term Kibe. My father was Kibe. Her parents were Kibe. So we have ties that goes back and forth from Japan.
I'm not familiar with that term. What's kibe mean?
People that were born in the United States and went back to Japan to get educated and then came back before the war. And both your parents were, right?
Yeah. My father was born in Hawaii, actually. And he went back when he was 4 years old to Fukuoka. And then he came back to the United States when he was 18. And my mother was born in Santa Monica, California. And then they had some unfortunate things happen. Her father died. So they sent her to live with relatives in Hiroshima. And she came back when she was 20. And then the war started and my parents met in camp. So that's how they got together.
You mentioned third generation, but I heard that you guys are also both eye doctors, and your children are also eye doctors. Is that correct? Is there a family history of eye doctors going further back as well, or?
Yeah, it started with my dad because he started the practice back in 47. And so we've been just carrying it along. Working with family, it's great. It's nice. At least I can actually we could hand off the boat to the kids and go play. And that's what we're going to try to do now.
So how long have you guys been thinking about buying a place in Japan or spending more time in Japan going forward in life? What was the nexus? Where did that come from?
When our youngest son was getting married about 5 years ago, I sent a letter to my cousin that's in Okayama and asked him to come out to the wedding. And I got no reply. I was like, gee, I wonder what happened to him. And then I tried to contact some of my other cousins. And of course, my letters came back. Nobody but here by this name. So I was thinking, maybe I'd like to go back out there and actually see if I can find him. Because really back in 69, my parents wanted me to go to Okayama and start school there, elementary school. I'm sorry, this is another phone. Somebody must be need to get a hold of this. I'm sorry.
No problem. You can keep going. I think we can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Actually, back in 69, my problem was I wasn't doing well in school because I didn't speak English that well.
Oh.
Because I grew up with my grandparents. So I was having trouble understanding English. And so my parents wanted me to go to school in Okayama. But then at the very end, when they were going to leave me, I more or less said, and this is going to sound bad, but I didn't want to stay in Japan because the place smelled like a sewer.
Oh no.
Yeah,
What,
the place.
what
I
year
mean,
was this?
it-
1969?
69. Yeah, I mean, toilets were a hole in the ground.
Yeah,
It was
pretty
like
clean.
it was pretty crude. And so I begged my mom to bring me back, and that's why I went back. And yeah, I was embarrassed because yeah, I was like, oh god, my what is it, cousin's place? Yeah, literally smelled like an outhouse.
Oh, no.
Toilets in Japan have the exact opposite reputation now, which is
Yeah,
funny
yeah,
from your experience.
Anyway, that's how that started, and that's the reason why I ended up going back because my parents actually wanted me to be like what's happening with my dad when he was there because he and my dad's whole family moved back to Okayama back about 1937 because they were farming in Brighton over here. That's when my dad was born.
So had
And
you got,
hmm?
sorry to interrupt. So was that the last time you were in Japan, was 1967, or have you gone back up until buying the house?
No, I haven't. It was last time was
Oh.
69.
Yeah. I was there
Wow.
when I was 18 with a college group. So that was the last time I was there. We were in Yugawara for a
Okay.
summer.
Oh, I actually know Yugawara quite
Mhm.
well. Me and my little
Onsen.
brother used to surf there.
Oh, wow. And I just want to mention, I'm sorry for the interruption, but our daughter-in-law's water just broke, so they're going to
Oh,
the hospital.
whoa.
Okay.
Congratulations. Exciting times. What, Rob and Naomi, what really was the catalyst for you guys? You hadn't been to Japan for ages. What made you go like, all right, let's buy a house? Was it you guys thinking about retirement, things like that, or?
Yeah, that's what we were thinking about retirement because we both heard that, yeah, Japan really was nice and clean. And we didn't have to worry about that sewer smell anymore. Okay.
Times have changed.
Yeah, yeah. And so we actually went out there in April and just to see how it was. And it was really nice and people were friendly. We were able to blend into the crowd, so to speak, which was nice. Okay.
Mhm.
And then after we came back, I said, let's actually see if we can buy a house because we had heard that there was Akiyas that were open that you can get for really good prices. So that's how it started on that. And then we talked to you guys, then it was a whole snowball from there.
Are you planning on
Hmm?
moving? I'm not sure if you have a Japanese passport at all. I know there is like a retirement visa. Are you guys considering like retiring fully in Japan, or is it always just going to be a
Probably,
vacation home?
probably vacation home. Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it would be nice for our kids too, their grandson too, to actually go back and forth. And we like to maybe spend maybe 3-4 months, come back, go back and forth because eventually, of course, when we retire, we like to spend a little bit more time at the house there. It's really nice staying in your home place instead of having to be at hotels all the time.
Of
And
course.
there's this thing about is it Zenyu or it's ID card? But you have, we would like to get that, but there's some steps, and one of them is you have to have a sponsor, and which we don't have, a relative or school or work that will
Mm. So
sponsor you.
no traction on finding your cousin or any of your family. What kind of efforts do you guys make on the ground? Did you like put out flyers or knock on doors or things like that?
We really haven't had enough time to spend out there. So
Okay.
eventually, we'll see.
We're going to work on
We're
that.
going to work on that, something to work on. So we'll see what happens.
I bet they've got good records at City Hall there or something. I think probably difficult to figure out these conversations in Japanese to track your cousin down. But if you do find the right person at City Hall that knows how to do that stuff, I'm sure I would place my money on them having good records.
I think so because I think my mom is, I think my mom and dad are both on the Koseki, but I have to just find it. That's the thing. So that'll be a
Oh,
challenge.
interesting. Yeah, that might be a lead to passport. So my dad, because my dad's born in Japan, I can get a passport. So I think there's some family tie that even future grandchildren can have Japanese passports. So don't know too much about that now, but I know that's how I got a Japanese passport temporarily.
Oh, wow.
Rob, curious, did you recognize Okayama? Like when you went there, it had been like a long time. Did you know the streets or anything, or was this completely a different city?
total different.
Oh,
When I was there as a kid, I didn't care about anything. I was just having fun with my cousin Takeshi. He's just running all over the place, playing baseball, catching frogs in the combo fields. When I went back there, it's, yeah, I don't remember the thing about this place. It looked totally different, like a totally new place.
yeah. It's like a movie. I'm really excited. Eventually, when you find your family again, let us know. We'd love to. It'll close the loop. I think it's such a cool story that you're going back to your roots. I myself am Japanese American too. I think I've always thought about that. Do I find where my dad grew up, kind of thing, and try to buy a house around there? But instead, we've just gone all over the place. But let's talk about the property purchase process. So I know you guys talked with us what seems like maybe 4 months ago. When did we start this whole? I think it's maybe September is when we really started our first conversation from our records. When you talked to us, what was really nice is you knew what you wanted. Both of you guys were like, we want Okayama. You had identified a couple property. We then set you up to work with our newer agents at the time, Ron and Hida. So thank you for being our guinea pigs working with them. How was that experience? How was the search? Can you talk through the process you went through?
They were great. Yeah, they're both very nice people. And Ron is very friendly and personable. So it was a pleasure getting to know them and spending time with them, meeting them. And Ron drove us around to the properties that we had been looking at. And yeah, it's fun.
They were
Did you
very cool.
did you expect does Ron have blonde hair? He's like a true American dude coming
Yeah,
up
very
and picking you up in a car.
But we had a friend with us, and he's American, and he said it was fun talking with Americans again. So he had a good time. And then he is very fluent in both English and Nihongo, and knows his stuff and all the technical paperwork type issues and getting utilities set up and all that stuff. We would have never been able to do that. We didn't know it was required. So he was very good. Yeah.
And in fact, Ron and Hida, I think they're, what is it, going up and above what we had expected for any realtors to do. As you probably know, Hida was kind enough to go ahead and be like our representative to take care of paying the taxes, actually getting all the bills and also paying for all those things. He's also he also got us the insurance quote too. So he's going to be going ahead and going through with that too. So that's really helpful. If anybody's out there is worried about that, Ron and Hida, they'll go out of their way to to help you out. You picked a good set.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have nothing but good words to say about them.
Right on. I'm curious on the property search, when they were driving around, how many houses do you guys look at? I know your budget was a little higher than our average customer looking at like true messed up Akiyas. Like what kind of houses were you looking at and how many did you look at on that first? Maybe not messed up, dilapidated maybe is a better word.
Luckily, so there were 3 we narrowed it down to, and 2 of them were totally remodeled. So there was no worry about having to remodel. One of them was a true Akiya. It was needed a lot of work, but I could see the potential in that place. It's just it would have been more expensive, and we'd have to wait a long time before it was done. But yeah, so it got narrowed down to 3 places, and this was the last one we looked at.
The last one that we looked at, we found it was on your website there. We couldn't pass that up because that thing was it was totally redone, clean. I guess Hida was saying that it passed all inspection and was certified. For the price, we just couldn't pass that up because we made a decision in about 2 days and told him, yeah, Ron, let's go for this. The other one that was like a true Akiya, I'll share this with you. Our friend Kendall, and the friend that came with us, I knew him from kindergarten. And so he's a long-term friend. We were making jokes. Hey, this looks like there might be some ghosts or UDAs in there.
Yeah, haunted house.
So we were saying, okay, so who's going to take the first night here all by himself? And we were saying, and then we asked Ron, hey, why don't you come stay? He goes, no. Just a little fun thing that we were having at that time.
Yeah, we get a lot of questions too about like, hey, why are these properties so cheap? Are there ghosts in it?
Yeah. He was saying that they were saying that some people want to come to Japan and reconstruct a historical house, make it like a samurai house or something. But that's not what we wanted. It's Japanese style and everything's modern. So it's very convenient. Yeah, it's nice.
Do you
Were there
know
any?
when? Oh,
Oh.
sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
I was going to ask about, were there any points in this process where it felt anything that surprised you in the process, or any points where it felt overwhelming? Or I just want to know how you guys felt about the entire sort of process. Did anything stand out there? Any stressful events or anything like that?
There really wasn't
Really,
anything
yeah.
because everything went really smooth. I know that at one point the price of the house went up about 3,000, but I guess it was because the owners wanted to. I guess they raised the price anyway. It wasn't a deal breaker, but that's just one small little hiccup. I don't know if any other clients would have experienced anything. I remember I might have told you about that it went up a little bit, but it wasn't a deal breaker. But that's the only thing. Everything else went pretty well smoothly.
What point did that go up? I remember that conversation. You made the offer, and then they like tried to negotiate a higher price after you made the offer, or what was the timeline there?
It was like about shortly after we put in the what is it? It was the
The contract
contract
offer.
offer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And Ron came back and says, unless you close by the end of the month, it's
Oh,
going to go
yeah.
up about 3 or something like that. And I guess it had to do with the owner because I guess the owner was and correct me if I'm wrong, it was a company that remodels homes. Is that what it was?
Mm, yep.
And so it was going to go up anyway. We went around the thoughts of maybe just having Hida be a power of attorney to close the deal, but I said, don't rush it. Just go ahead. It's not a big deal breaker. Just let it go through on a regular.
I remember that. There was like we had talked. We've been following on Ron and Hida, and he was like, "Okay, we have until this date," and it was like 10 days or something like that. We're like, I don't know if it makes sense. It was like before the end of the month or something. They wanted
Yeah.
to close. It's interesting. Do we ever figure out why? Is it like there was competition, or they had upgraded things?
I don't know. I guess Ron was even saying, I don't know why they did that either. It was just, no, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Rob, what was the neighborhood like, or Naomi as well? Could you describe the neighborhood? I know when Take and I bought our first house, the neighborhood seemed like it was on the edge of getting more abandoned. Is the neighborhood that you guys found trending in that direction, or what were your feelings on the neighborhood?
It looks like that neighborhood is like a development of about 20 homes, and they're all the same age, like 1990s. But we took a walk and we found there was a historical neighborhood that was all wooden buildings, and there's a sword museum around there, and tourists come there. So it's a real old area, historical. And so that was interesting. We didn't know that until after we bought it, that was there.
That's
But
cool.
yeah, it looks like it's pretty stable. It doesn't look like it's getting less
Yeah.
people. It was interesting because our across the street neighbor came by and actually had a conversation with us. And so, I guess we don't look too bad.
You got to start bringing them omiyage now each time you visit.
Oh no, we did bring a little, but they weren't home. There were 2 neighbors that were home, and the rest weren't home.
And Hida was kind enough to introduce us to the 2 neighbors that were home. We gave them some omiyages. Hopefully, if we can spend more time there, we'll get to know our neighbors a little bit better. So that's what I'm looking for. Look forward to it.
Interested to learn more about the house. So built in 1990s. It seems like someone came in and renovated it. It seems pretty brand new from the inside, right?
Mhm.
How big is the property? Like how many rooms, or can you describe what it looks like? I know we're on a podcast here. Yeah, roughly how big? Any standout unique things about it?
I think it's about 1,100 square feet. There's 3 bedrooms upstairs and 1 toilet up there. There's a tatami room up there. And then there's another bedroom on the main floor. It's a tatami. And those are all new. Let's see, it's got a living room, dining room, kitchen, and your bathroom. So it's fairly nice size. Of course, it's a little smaller than what we're used to, but it's good enough for both of us.
Got it. Did it fit your guys' budget? And roughly how much did it cost ballpark to get the property?
I think with adding in the cost of the air conditioners, because we put in three air conditioners. I think it was about 100
Okay.
degrees, something like
That's
that.
amazing.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
She
Very good.
also
Yeah.
added a banister, a handle for the
Staircase.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there wasn't no handrail, so they put that in too.
Okay.
Good move with the ACs. Insulation might be the next move as well. Taka and I got a bunch of ACs in one of our properties, and yeah, the next move for ultimate comfort, I think, is the insulation.
Yeah, we went there because we were out there in June. What is it? Early part of December. It was cold. I was cold. And Ron was saying, "Hey, you're from Colorado. How can you be cold?" Oh, it is cold. I was freezing. But yeah, it's interesting that the Japanese homes, they don't have central air or heating. So
Luckily, there's a hardware store about a 5-minute drive away. So we were making a lot of trips there to get things to make it comfortable. Got our mattresses there.
yeah, and we also took your advice for getting our international
It-
license. Thanks for
Yes.
encouraging us.
Yeah. How was it driving on the other side of the road? Scary,
It
or you
was-
got used to it?
For me, it was scary there, but I finally got used to it. In fact, when Ron was with us, I said, "Hey, you want to drive?" And he's looking at me like, "It sounds like somebody doesn't want to drive." I said, "Yeah, you bet." It's kind of strange, but I forced myself to drive, and it got better as time goes. But I had a question. You guys have a car out there, right? And
Yep.
you're the person that you use. I saw on that link.
Mhm.
That person helps you get the car and register it also.
Yeah, we're experimenting with the process, but yeah, do you have more to that question before I try to answer it? Or
Yeah, go ahead. The thing is that, is it true that you have to have your car inspected every year or every 2 years? Is that a pain?
Every 2 years,
Every
yeah.
2 years?
The shukken, or I think they call it shukken. Yeah, every 2 years. I think that even if you were to buy a used car in Japan, the
Mhm.
average level of maintenance that they keep their cars in Japan is well above what you'll find in America or Canada. So I don't think if you were to buy a used car, I think very likely it's still going to pass the shukken.
Yep. And going back to the acquisition part, yeah, that's something we're figuring out next. We figured out how to buy houses, and it seems like buying cars is even more complicated than buying some of these houses. But the good news is, now that you have a house, I think the big thing they look for is like an electricity bill or utility bill. So once you get that utility bill, that unlocks a lot of things. Yeah, feel free to reach out to us offline. We can start trying to navigate it. It's very complicated, but I feel like we can figure it out if you do want to end up having a car. Do you guys have a parking spot, by the way?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
I was going to
That's
say
one of the qualifications.
that's the big one, the parking spot. Yeah.
Yeah. So in short, it's the cars are quite cheap, but they do have a lot of hoops you need to jump through, like that every other year inspection. But yeah, we were surprised the quality we got for a minivan. We went through like a Craigslist type website, and honestly, the minivan we got is immaculate and perfect, and probably it's the newest car I've ever bought and the cheapest car I've ever bought at the same time.
I was just wondering, because we also thinking, would it be better to just go ahead and do a lease? We can't do a lease, but rent a car? Is that cheaper than buying one?
You
Yeah,
can rent a car. Recently, I mean, I've rented a car in Oita Prefecture for about $500 for a week. Those are the sort of the rates you'll pay. And definitely really easy to rent cars in Japan. Not a problem. But if you wanted your own car, or you wanted something with space to bring stuff back and forth from the hardware store frequently, $2,000 for a car to own your own car is quite affordable.
Yeah, they have K cars. They have a whole bunch of more bigger engine cars. I think a lot of people, if you're just staying locally, get the K car. They have the yellow license plate, but we've heard that they are a little bit dangerous if you're going to go on the highway, or they're like cheaper built, but they're also cheaper. Yeah, I think a car is a great option as you guys settle down there and realize I'd always buy a car over renting it, but no, we're going to need to find someone in the neighborhood, maybe turn it on once in a while, or maybe do some of the maintenance. But interestingly enough, I think Okayama's been picking up a lot of popularity amongst our users, and we've been getting a lot of inquiries. I think like right after you guys actually inquired, we had a ton of people. We actually helped someone else buy an Okayama quite recently. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like the house styles. There's a lot of the Akiyas with very traditional kind of roofs and stuff, and at good prices. But You guys might have started a trend, I'd say, with folks.
There's a big art, I think, every 2 years in Okayama as well, a big art festival.
Oh, yeah, your friend, what's that, isn't it?
It was on an island.
And Naoshima.
Naoshima, that's it.
Yeah. I'm curious, what, for our listeners who've never been to Okayama, what do you guys like about it? What's the environment like? Are you close to the ocean? Are you up on hills? Your area, what's it like?
Well, it's close to rice fields.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool.
It kind of, like foot of some small mountains. So it reminds me of where I'm here in Golden.
Okay.
It's the full Inaka.
Yep. The Boulder of Japan.
There you go.
There we go. How do your kids like it? Yeah, have they visited? Are they planning to use the house? Are they excited?
Yeah, we'll see, because one's having a baby and the other is they're getting married pretty soon. After they're all settled, we might take a family trip. We'll see.
Yeah, the older one, he did a rotation down in Okinawa at the naval base there. And he says, yeah, he wants to go back because he says he had a good time. And he says, yeah, he keeps bugging me. When are you guys going to get the house all fixed so it can come out?
Yeah.
It's like a 5-minute drive to the grocery store. We went to Hallows a lot and get bento from there, and things are convenient. It's not too backwards. It's very nice.
Yeah, I find Japan quite convenient, or at least I'm living in rural Canada right now, so way more convenient than here. But yeah, that is one thing I look forward to when I do go back to Japan, is getting places is so easy. The public transportation infrastructure, and then just grocery stores have everything you ever need. And I do find it, the convenience is something I love about Japan.
Yeah. And then as we wrap up here, when are you guys coming back next? You guys just went a couple weeks ago, it feels like. When you guys just came back, is that right?
We came back right before Christmas, about from the 4th to the 10th. Is that when?
I forget already. We're going back though.
Yeah, we have to try. We're going to try to get back probably last week of February or last 2 weeks of February. And then it just depends on, because we have to fill in for our daughter-in-law and son. So we like to go back there, hopefully again in another 6 or 7 weeks. But it just depends on when we can get away. Eventually, I want to say, hey, I'm going to spend about 6 months out on a visitor visa. We could only be there 3 months, but try to work on a long-term stay visa if I can.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Okay, so now the big question here, again, our listeners are people who are aspiring to buy Akiyas. What advice do you have to someone who's beginning their search? Maybe another Japanese American who wants to reconnect, but like anything you would tell yourself 6 months ago before you started this purchase process?
Probably actually starting with you, because I was looking online and I didn't know where to go. And I was just like, maybe I'll send an email to a realtor blindly. But actually, gosh, I think I found this because you were referred to us by, I forgot the name, I'm sorry, because I just found him online and he says, oh yeah, try to get AkiyaMart.
Awesome. Maybe it was whoever it is. Thank you if you're listening to this.
And I spent hours scrolling through and looking at one house after another, and so that's how we narrowed it down. But your descriptions are great, and the prices are there, and it's a good site. Yes.
Because and even now you're willing to keep us informed, especially like the cars and stuff. That's very much appreciated, because when our kids bought their house early part of this year, the realtor closed the deal and all of a sudden they're nowhere to be found.
So we're around. We're actually going to be in the area, hopefully end of February too. So we'll contact you. We'd love to try to meet you guys up in person. We're driving from Tokyo down to Kyushu. So if we go the Okayama route, we'll definitely stop by and say hi. Yeah, but that's all for me. Joey, any final questions for you? That's an optometrist question. Is there any
optometrist question? I was going to ask a question about I guess it was very similar to your question, Take, but I feel 2 years ago, before me and Take had started this journey, I would have thought that this was impossible. Not impossible, but I would have been overwhelmed with how to even get started on this. And I asked this question a little bit earlier, whether you had any stressful moments, or did it ever seem, what was the spark that made this all seem possible for you guys to even make this happen? Was there a point where you went from, no, I don't know if we could pull this off, to, I think we could do this?
Actually, it's mainly the cost. You can get really good houses for a reasonable price in the States, probably even in Canada up there. You can't touch. If you A little shack will be like 500 G's, or some of them, they look like a rundown house for $1 million. Nobody can afford anything like that. But in Japan, it's all surprised that yeah, you can get a decent house for a reasonable price, and they're really good built too. So that was a big thing. So yeah, when we started first looking at the cost, I was amazed and says, yeah, this is something we could do.
I think
Cool.
me and Tage felt the same when we first thought about it too. The financial risk was low to try something.
Congratulations. You guys have successfully bought an awesome house. Again, we hope to visit you soon. And again, we really thank you guys for being one of our earlier customers here and working with Ron and Hida. I know they have said nothing but good things. They're like, find us more Rob and Naomi's as customers. So you guys are the template and have set the precedent for customers we send them at this point. So thank you so much.
You're most
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah, keep in touch, and we'll be out there hopefully the last 2 weeks of February. So if you're around that time, let's get together.
Perfect. Then yeah, keep us updated. I want to know if you find your cousin. I like, no matter if it's 5 years from now, just you make sure to send us an email. I hope you find your family out there and reconnect.
Okay. I'll keep
Cool.
in touch. Thanks.
Yeah, will do. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have a good care.